Good morning. I'm Father Charles Everson, Communications Director with the Society of Catholic Priests, and we are about to do the second in our installment of interviews of Society members during the conference. Introduce to you Mr. Phil Hooper.
Hello.
How are you doing, Phil?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I am a third-year student at Church Divinity School of the Pacific in Berkeley, California. I am a candidate for Holy Orders in the Diocese of Nevada, and this is my first SCP conference.
Lovely. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
Tell us why you decided to join the Society of Catholic Priests.
Yeah, I joined this past summer as a provisional member. I had spent about 6 months living and studying in England, and I heard about the society in that part of the world and was really interested in connecting with clergy, people who could be mentors and future colleagues if I'm, God willing, ordained in the coming year or so. And I just wanted to sort of deepen my understanding and ability to articulate my Anglo-Catholic identity and to connect with people who share that same vision for the Episcopal Church.
What does it mean for you to be an Anglo-Catholic?
I think for me, our sacramental life is what drew me into understanding my call to the priesthood. And so for me, to be Anglo-Catholic is to be rooted deeply in the sacraments, in the way that they've been handed down to us in the tradition of the Church, and to figure out how to use the sacraments, with the grace of God to bring good news to people and to bring reconciliation to the world through them. I think that it's really important for us as a church to, even though we're operating in a 21st century context, to remember that it's the richness of our tradition that is so much of a gift of what we have in the way that we offer the gospel. So I think being Anglo-Catholic is really one of the strongest ways we can live into that aspect of our faith.
What is it like being an Anglo-Catholic at CDSP?
It's actually great. I'm not completely alone in my identity there, but it has been a process of living into that identity and being able to articulate it clearly, because you're surrounded by seminarians and faculty from all kinds of different backgrounds and all kinds of different levels of churchmanship. So it has been an interesting journey and one that continues. But on the whole, I have to say that even among my classmates and faculty and staff who may not identify as Anglo-Catholic, they have overall really been willing to engage, at least in dialogue with me. And that has been, I think, good. I think it's been good for me and good for them, hopefully.
We just heard from Dr. Maxwell Johnson talk to us about baptism and the Eucharist and what comes first. Tell us what you thought about his talk to us.
Yeah, hearing Dr. Johnson was great. We've actually just been talking about this very matter in my liturgics class at CDSP, and so to have him there with us, sort of explaining the importance of baptism as sort of the initiation and gateway into a life, a death and life in new life in Christ, I think was deeply compelling. I think he gave us a good overview of sort of both scriptural rationale for why baptism needs to sort of be the point of entry into Christian life, and then the Eucharist grows out of that, and also, again, referring back to the tradition, the church fathers and other important considerations as we have this conversation in the church. I think it's really important for all of us who identify as Anglo-Catholic, whether existing clergy or people in training for that, to not only feel deeply the importance of things like this about baptism before Eucharist, but also to be able to clearly state the reasons in a pastoral and authoritative way, so that we can really bring that viewpoint to the table, because it's an open question for the Episcopal Church today, and we really, I think, all voices need to be heard, including ours.
So we are in New York City, and
Yeah.
the council has intentionally made plenty of time to have some R&R during the conference. What have you done, or what do you plan on doing outside of the conference for fun here in New York?
Yeah, I took a red eye from California, and I got here yesterday, and before the conference started, I made a beeline straight to the Metropolitan Museum of Art because the Heavenly Bodies exhibition is closing. It's the one about fashion and the Catholic imagination. So I got to see part one of that at the main Met building. But if there's any time, I'm going to go up to see the rest of it at the cloisters. And just walking around New York is always a treat. Just the energy and diversity is really fantastic to be part of.
So if a fellow seminarian or another clergy person were to ask you, why should I join the Society of Catholic Priests, how would you respond?
Well, I think it's really important, again, to build relationships. I know that as we leave the seminary setting, it's going to be important to me to develop a network of clergy colleagues and friends that would sustain me in my ministry. And so I think that would be a benefit for anyone. If you're feeling really drawn and called to articulating your vocation as an ordained person in a deeply sacramental understanding of our Catholic faith, I think SCP would be kind of the natural choice, honestly, for your further growth and formation and development.
Wonderful. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, thank you.